My next guest believes that overparenting is becoming more and more of a problem. He says it occurs when parents do things for their kids that their kids can and should be doing for themselves. Psychologist Dr. Todd Corelli is encouraging you to parent in the middle, not over, not under. He's going to share how. Todd, welcome to Studio 5.
Thank you.
So are parents more likely these days to overparent than underparent?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I'm assuming yes. Describe an overparenter. What does that look like?
Overparenting, well, the signs, we see it in the kids and we see it in the parents. So in the kids that are overparented, they can't do things. They can't do hard things. They don't have resilience. They sort of get overwhelmed a lot. They also tend to be entitled, indulged. They tend to be kind of demanding, but really they can't do hard things. Mm-hmm. Now, in the parents, they can't do hard things because the parents are doing all the hard things for them, right? And the parents tend to also be not just working harder than the kids, but I think some of us believe that praise, for example, is if I tell my kid how wonderful they are, how smart they are, that's going to develop their self-esteem. And in fact, self-esteem absolutely does not come from praise. We think it might, but I've worked with the most famous athletes or Hollywood who have horrible self-esteem, and they get all the praise you could ever want. Self-esteem comes from coping. It comes from learning how to face difficulties and do difficult things. And when we overparent, we sabotage that process.
So what I'm hearing you say is you don't build confidence from hearing you're great. You build confidence from experiencing what you can do well.
From doing something that's hard.
From feeling it. Yeah. Let's strike for that middle ground, right? We're not overparenting, we're not underparenting. Help us parent from the middle, Todd. You say the first thing, and we've touched on this, don't fix for your kids what they can fix for themselves.
Right. So sometimes, when I think of that, I think of two things. Number one, we have to help them develop skills. Number two, we have to help them develop emotional skills. So what I mean by that is, if your kid did poorly on a homework, like on a math test, instead of calling the teacher or emailing the teacher and finding out what went wrong, have your kid go into the school, meet with the teacher, advocate for themselves, learn how to do that process. That's a really important life skill, right? Silly example, so silly that I want to tell it to you.
I'm here for it.
Okay, so my son last year turned 16, could not wait to get his driver's license, right? But the process is you got to get online, fill out these forms. He hates that stuff, right? So he pleads with us, please, will you do this for me? No, we're not going to do it for you. So he begs and begs. No, you're either going to do it or you're not going to drive.
Yeah.
So he did it, right? That's a little life skill. Like, you've got to learn to do those things. Now, emotionally, sometimes we step in and we try to fix our kids' feelings, especially when they're in pain or dealing with something difficult.
That's hard to see.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
Can I tell a story?
Please.
So my daughter, who's in college now, when the pandemic came, she was a junior in high school. This kid is so exuberant. Like, she loves life. She loves her friends. She loves her teachers. She loves school. She loves volleyball. She's a college athlete. And at the time, she was preparing for this club season where she was going to get recruited by all these coaches from different schools around the country. And COVID pandemic shut everything down. She couldn't see her friends. The volleyball season was canceled. Everything was shut down for her. And I remember she was suffering. And as a dad, I want to kind of try and fix that for her.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So I want to encourage her or say words that make her feel better. And I'm telling you, words don't work. What works is empathy. And I know this because I teach this, but I still fall into that trap of trying to say things to make her feel better. And I remember deciding at one point, I'm going to stop doing all this cheerleading. And I'm going to, it sounds funny to say this, but I'm going to suffer with her. There's something magical about empathy because empathy is vulnerable. It requires us to kind of open up and suffer with them. But the magical thing of empathy for others is that it's healing for them. And it's hard to describe what it does. But as I did that with her, really stopped trying to fix her feelings for her and just suffered with her, it kind of did what I wanted it to do in the first place. It kind of did make her feel better. And I think our kids need to learn how to deal with difficult feelings.
Yeah.
And instead of fixing them, we can just have empathy.
We can
for
be
them.
there. That's a really powerful example. I'm glad you took the time to share. We have about a minute left together. Tell me about the paradox of control. How does this apply?
Control's a funny thing. None of us want to be controlled. Human nature. So the more we try to control, the less control we have. That's the paradox.
So don't grip too hard.
Don't grip too hard.
Also, don't parent from fear.
When we parent from fear, we're being controlling.
Okay.
Right? And we lose them. Fear and control disconnects us from our kids. And what we're trying to do is connect to our kids.
You want us to have appropriate boundaries, appropriate demands, appropriate expectations. And finally, you want us to teach our kids to express their feelings. What's the best way to do that?
It sounds so simple to say this. Learn how to identify what you're feeling and to talk about it. So in our homes, we want to create a place where it's safe and encouraged to talk about our feelings, whatever those feelings are.
Thank you so much. It's a good topic to chew on, to think on. Your examples will help push us that direction in the best ways. Where can we connect with you and get more advice?
So my website, drtoddtalks.com. I've got free content. I have a parenting course, and then my YouTube channel, Dr. Todd Talks.
Dr. Todd Talks. Thanks for talking. We're better because of it.